Well, welcome to another Rise and Thrive, where we are rising out of our financial slumps and we are thriving in financial freedom.
Uh,
I'm your host, Dr. A.D. Burns, and this is my co-host, brother, Minister James Jones. What's going on, Minister James Jones?
I'm doing good, Pastor.
You doing good?
I do want to say before we start, good evening to all my grinders. Let's go get it.
Let's go get it. I like that. Let's go get it. Good evening to all the grinders. Let's go get it. What they going to get?
We're gonna get ourselves out of freedom, put a bunch of money in our pocket, and have a good
You gonna
day.
get yourself out of freedom?
No, we're gonna get ourselves out of debt, put ourselves in freedom, and eat a lot
Okay,
of food along the way.
we're gonna go get it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go get this.
All
We're gonna
right,
do it.
awesome. Go get it. I'm writing that down. I write all
Yeah.
these things down. I keep saying I'm gonna have a shirt, but I'm gonna have a whole line of shirts after a while. I'm gonna have to start giving them away. Well, listen, thank you again for tuning into Financial Friday. And listen, I am so excited. And thank you again to all of you all who continues to send in um, different comments. For those of you who I see, out and about in different places, I run into you and you tell me that you watch Financial Friday and how it's blessing your life and really helping you get into a place of financial freedom. Thank you so much. Listen, why don't you like and share for me? Because there's other people that want to know how to come out of a financial slump. And I'm telling you, we're not just giving you information, we're giving you proven principles that work. Principles work for anybody, anywhere, at any time. And so if you go and look back through the Financial Fridays in the comments, you will see a plethora of comments of people who are being helped by the wisdom of Financial Fridays. And so, why don't you do that? Why don't you like it and share it for me? Come on, you can do that. Just 2 clicks of the button. Click the like, boom, and then click share, boom. There you go. That's what I need you to do. And
Yes.
so, James was talking about we're gonna go get it. We're gonna go get that financial freedom. And
Yes.
so he said to my grinders, if you're a grinder, why don't you type that in the chat for us? Say, I'm a grinder. I'm a grinder. And just so you're clear, James, tell us again, what is the definition of a grinder?
Okay. So the definition of a grinder is a person who is focused, hard work, determined, and they're doing the same thing over and over again. They're grinding out all of the details. They're grinding out all of the imperfections. They're grinding out all the mistakes. They're grinding everything out. So when they get done grinding, everything they're doing is pure. Everything they're doing is impactful. Everything they're doing is producing because you're grinders. So we're going to stick to what we do and we're going to be the best at it.
All right, I like that definition there. You say focus, hardworking, and determined.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another one of my shirts right there. Focused, hardworking, and determined. Yeah, and the key is consistency, right?
Yes.
Being
Yes.
consistent
Over time, consistent
over
over
time, consistent over time. Okay, that's another
time.
good one right there.
Because we ain't no quick starters. You gotta stay with it. You do the same thing you did yesterday. You do the same thing yesterday. You doing tomorrow. You do the same thing tomorrow. You're gonna do 2 days from now, and eventually your tomorrow becomes your past, and you can see that you are where you are supposed to be.
All right, consistent over time.
Yeah.
I like that. I always use the example when it comes to being consistent is the race between the hare and the tortoise. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you remember how the hare, he was running around in circles around the tortoise, and he was playing, he was zipping here and zipping there because he was so much faster. And then he messed around and wore himself out and took a nap, and the tortoise ended up winning the race. And he won the race not because he was faster, he ran the race because he was consistent. And so,
Yes.
listen, you can win the race that you're running um, if you are consistent. It don't have to look like You know, when he said doing it over and over and over again, sometimes it doesn't look like nothing is changing. But if you put in the work, if you're focused, hardworking, and determined, if you putting in the work, it may not look like it's changing, but over time, you will look up and you will see that you are further or where you want to be or further than where you were. And you will see that over time, you'll get closer and closer to that financial freedom. When we talk about financial freedom, what is financial freedom?
Financial freedom is the ability to go where you need to go, do what you need to do without having money to be the key factor in why you do it or where you go. That to me is the basics of financial freedom. So if you go to work and you're financially free, it's because you like what you do. Some people are librarians because they like being around kids or they like being around books. Some people are logistics people because they just like being around numbers and being able to travel from one place to another. Some people just like doing what they're doing. So it's not about having a job or not having a job. It's about being able to do and go where you want to go and do what you want to do without having money be one of the key factors.
Wow, good. I love it. I love it. I love it. Go away. I'm gonna have to create a financial freedom shirt line. Yeah, I'm gonna work on that because I keep writing these things down there. Somebody out there might want to get some shirts as a reminder how important it is to focus and to work hard and be determined. Or maybe you want to remind yourself how consistency wins the race. Or maybe you want to remind yourself to go and do and do and go.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
want everybody to make it. We want everybody to be, trust me, the biggest thing that people didn't know in the past that I can surely tell you in the future, everyone can make it. This isn't something that where one person make it and then you gotta, it's like two crabs in a barrel or three crabs in a barrel or a barrel full of crabs where each one is always pulling down the one above it. Okay. This is not the case. We can all pull each other up. We can all be financially literate first, and then we all could be financially successful. Because being financially successful doesn't equate to money. It's about lifestyle, and that's the best thing about being financially free. Your lifestyle is what you make of it. So that's the key.
Yeah. No, when you talk about that, you know, I need to write that down. Your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle. Say it again.
Okay, so when you talk about being financially free, it's not about the money you make, it's about the lifestyle you have. So to be able to go where you want to go, do what you want to do, that's the lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So my lifestyle is about helping people and getting everybody on the same board of being financially literate and giving them the hope that they can become financially free. Because some people want it and some people will do what it takes to get it. So I want to make sure that I find or look for everyone who's looking for it and willing to do what it takes to get it. Not anything shaky or shady, but to do it with integrity and character, because the quality of life is what I want everyone to have. To be able to wake up, have a good time, to be able to go to sleep stress-free, to wake up and be able to move and shake and have a good time and just living life.
So answer this. Yeah, what would you say, or what would be your answer or definition, or your answer to the idea of wealth is a rite of passage?
Well, it depends on who's giving you the wealth. Mm-hmm. If my father is giving me the wealth and not the knowledge, well then it's just a burden. It's more of a curse. Mm-hmm. If my father's giving me knowledge and starting me off with a lot of wealth, well then that's an overarching blessing. Mm-hmm. But if my father, who knew how to make money and knew how to have integrity when he make money, gave me those two skills first, the ability, the knowledge to make it and the application to make it, and then started me off debt free, I can make it. The same thing in which we do on almost every scenario. If I have the knowledge and the wisdom and it's given to me at a young age, by the time I hit 18, 19, 20, I'm already walking in the vision that God has for me. So wealth is easy. It's only become hard when you get a bunch of money, but you don't have the knowledge or the wisdom to do it. Well, then I think the Bible tells you what happens. A fool and his money is very easily parted.
Will soon depart.
Yeah, I think we have to understand that those are the things that we're always working towards. Is for everybody to be financially literate, so you can be financially free. Because if I gave everybody $100,000, everybody who asked me, if I wrote everybody $100,000 check, but no one understood how to maintain the money or to duplicate the money, I mean, a lot of people can spend it.
Sure.
And even a frugal person can save it.
Mm-hmm.
But a person who has wisdom and understanding can make that $100,000 last. And that's what financial literacy does. It allows us to say, I got 100,000, but I'm not going to go buy a Rolex watch every weekend. I'm not going to be at the club just throwing drinks everywhere because I have the money. No, they're going to be like, okay, cool. Well, how can I produce more money? How can I use this money to produce more? Now, for me, it's real estate. For somebody else, it may be stocks. It may be bonds, mutual funds. It may be another person's invention. They may see another gizmo, like teleworking. Many people didn't think it was worth anything until COVID happened. Then the person who was like, cool, let me get on a low end of this digital working platform.
Mm-hmm.
They got in on the digital working platform, and it may not have been doing as good as they thought. COVID happened, then they fostered, right? Now everyone has a digital working platform. Even what we're on right now is a digital working platform.
Right.
So all of these things came out of diversity. The same thing is true with a lot of things. When things become scarce, that's when we start looking for new outlooks, new revenues. And I just saw this one guy who was making water out of thin air. And I think that's a revolutionary type of idea. I am diligently trying to invest in that company and trying to find more information about it. It's just because I know I can see it happening. That's the next level that we're going to. It's free water.
Okay.
Like hydrogen engine. The hydrogen engine is a water-based engine, and it uses no gas, all the water. You can breathe it. You can breathe the air, and you can get the water. I'm very interested in that next level of how that will happen in the United States. So I invest in those things because when it hits, I'm already there. So, I mean, there's a lot of people out there like me. Okay. That is not hurting my pocketbook to invest in the future. And I think wealth is about.
So we talked earlier, we talked about the crabs in the barrel, or you talked about crabs, each one helping each other up. What does it mean when you're trying to help people up, especially like your family? What does it mean to be an asset to your family?
Whew, that's a tricky question. That's like a bomb.
Oh,
that is a bomb.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. Ooh, that's so loaded. So let me see if I can break this down correctly. Okay. When I say, and this is for James Jones, when I say when I say my family, I'm not talking about just my blood siblings. Mm-hmm. I'm not just talking about my blood mama and my blood dad. I'm not just talking about those people. When I say my family, to include my friends. So shouts out to all my friends that are in Oakland, Oklahoma, Arizona. Shouts out to my friends that's in Dallas, Texas. Shouts out to my friends that are in, Chicago. I got some out in, Georgia, some out in Florida. I got some people out in New York and in Boston. So when I say my family, I mean, we talking about a lot of people. So when I want to bring in is, I think that's for me. And to be an asset to them is to be open and available to answer questions, because some of them want it and some of them just want the information. So you got to be an asset to all people. So for my family that want it, I want to be there to help them. Like, hey, yo, that sounds like a good deal. That sounds kind of iffy. That sounds like something that I'm not used to knowing. Why don't you do that? And then you let me know. Because it's not that I know everything. It's just that in the aspect that I can help, I want to help. In the aspect that I cannot help, just be honest and say I can't help. There's a lot of things that I'm not an expert on. So I don't want to lie to a lot of people and say, oh, I'm an expert on everything. No, I'm an expert on this area, in this field, in this pool.
Okay.
Everything else, I'm not able to help you. And that's what it is to be an asset. And when I say my family, remember, this is James Jones' family. I talk about my brothers who are close to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're close to me, then you family. It ain't just about my blood relatives. It's about my family. Everybody who's close to me, I consider family.
Okay.
And I want to always be a helping hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be a handout. I want to be a helping hand. A little bit of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
As an asset, I want to be that hand that can help them get to the next level. A handout is just a person who gives them money. I don't want to be a handout. I want to be the helping hand. Like, hey, bro, I see that contract. Yeah, this sentence is bad for you. That means you're not gonna make some money based on these rules. Or I can be like, hey, that contract right there, that looks good. You can sign that. Those are the things that being a helping hand is more applicable to than just giving people handouts.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Now, with that said, we have been talking about acceleration. We talked about the definition of acceleration. We talked about acceleration as far as hope and expectation. And then last week we were talking about acceleration from an application standpoint.
Yes.
And so for a couple weeks we dealt with that, and we looked at the snowball effect on the snowball method last week, and we talked a little bit about that, and then we kind of left off there. And so tonight we want to try to conclude our acceleration portion by the application portion of acceleration by looking into the whole idea of credit versus loans, or loans and credit, or credit and loans. And so when we talk about this whole idea of being able to focus, work hard, and be determined, how does credit and loans come into play when we talk about focusing, working hard, and being determined?
Okay, because credits and loans utilize other people's money. So this is more of an advanced level of acceleration. And that's why when we was talking, I was like, I got to make sure I make this disclaimer. There's a straight disclaimer. If you are not good with credits and loans, do not use them, because they have a tendency to put more people in debt that don't know it than those who do know how. So that's my only disclaimer. So when it comes to SMART goals, you're utilizing your own money that you have coming in, and by utilization, you can pull yourself out of debt and accelerate yourself. The snowball method deals with breaking down your payments that are currently out there, and then once you break down all of your debts, you'll have more money left over, and then you'll be able to go. When it comes to credits and loans, the difference is now you're pulling in a new source of income, or a new source of line of credit that you can utilize. Mm-hmm. Now, if you do it correctly, and I do mean correctly, you can utilize that to jumpstart what you're doing and get yourself out of debt faster. However, if you are not willing to apply correct information, you can pull out more money and get yourself in more debt and be more adversely affected by not being knowledgeable.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I'm smiling. I know I'm laughing because I'm always very cautious on giving out knowledge that may be a hindrance to to my people. So
Yeah, and some of that is a part of habits, because people grew up with certain priorities, and understanding when it comes to credit that is, your report card of your integrity, and you saying that you're going to pay this back, and you're going to pay it every day, every month on the third, and you making this contract, and so your integrity, your report card is how well you follow through with what you said that you were going to do. And so if you know from a habitual standpoint that you're not good at paying bills on time, or staying with something consistently long term, then credit can be a detriment to you,
yes.
because it's going to put you in a bad situation. It's going to cause you some hardship. It could end up garnishing money out of your check. It could end up blocking you from doing something in the future. And so it has some repercussions to that. And so you don't want to just jump into loans and credit if you are not, prepared educational wise to understand how to use it, and so because using loans and credit can be similar to a savings account when it comes to you putting money in a savings account and you just parking it there is not really working for you. And the opposite of that is when you're doing loans and credit, you want to do it in a way that is working for you, and so
Yes.
you don't want to do it in a way where you're on the bad end of it. So if you get loan and credit and you just pay it, a little bit at a time and stretch it out, the term that they give you, you can end up paying 4 or 5 times the money that you borrowed to do whatever, when you could have probably just saved that up in 6 months and bought it for cash and not have 3 or 4 years worth of payments. But James gonna get into that. I think I was crossing the line. I'm crossing the line on that.
I thought you were gonna go for it. I'm like, oh yeah, he good. He on the right path. Let him hang loose. I ain't gonna stop you.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Come on, Mr. J. Let's talk about the whole ideas of credits and loans. Let's go ahead and get into that lesson for tonight.
So first one is welcome to Financial Fridays. We're gonna go right into accelerating. We're gonna go to the last. Let me make sure I said it correctly. Welcome back to Financial Fridays. We're talking about accelerating you. So if you look at the last one, it's talking about credits and loans. Now, when it comes to credit and loans, I'm going to dive into a couple of things, and I'm going to try to get all of this stuff done in about a half an hour. So we're talking about balance transfers of credit cards, consolidating with new credit cards, personal loans to pay off your debt, and personal loans to pay off your credit card debt, and using personal loans to pay off your debt, your credit card debt, utilizing that correctly, and how to use your rewards wisely. Okay. And I see debt didn't linger over. So the big thing I want you to notice is when it comes to balance transfer for your credit cards, that's the very first one. So when it comes to balance transfer for when you're transferring your balance from one credit card to a next, you have a lot of benefits in which you can utilize that. So this is if you have card A is open and card B is almost full. Now, when it comes to transferring that debt, that means you're moving your balance from one account to another account. And the reason why you would do that is because you may be charged 3%, but if one account is charging you 10% and your second account is charging you 5%, that 3% move isn't going to hurt you, is actually helping you, because at the end of the day, if you're reducing the 10% amount and you're increasing your 5% amount, that 3% here is only giving you up to 8%. So that's the benefit of doing that, because if you can maneuver and lower your overall interest rates, you can see considerable results in doing that. Okay. One of the biggest benefits is that it simplifies your payments. If you move all of your existing credit over to a lower interest credit card. From a business standpoint, this happens quite frequently. From a personal standpoint, it doesn't happen as frequently, and that's typically because people are less knowledgeable about how to utilize this correctly versus somebody just taking the money out of your account. You're moving your money over to make sure you can get a better interest rate. The biggest thing for consideration is the 3 to 5% that I talked about. And one thing that a lot of cards are doing now, so a lot of cards, certain cards have a 0% probationary period. So you may have your 0% probationary period may be as long as 90 days. It may go as long as 15 months. I've seen it as long as 18 months. So anywhere from your probationary period beginning at 90 days all the way up to 180 days. You just got to check when it happens. So when you open up a balance transfer account and you have a 0% interest card, you want to transfer your high interest, not high debt, your high interest balance onto your 0% interest. Pay that 3% to transfer it, and then that way when you make payments, you can see drastic improvements in how you're doing it. That will be the effective way to reduce the amount of money in which you still owe. And by having it on a 0% interest rate, all the money you put into it is actually reducing the debt that much faster. So the biggest thing about it is your eligibility, and that is done through the approval process. Typically, if you have one account, you may want to get another account with the same company, because sometimes they do promotionals because they want to keep you as a customer. If you're paying your bill correctly, that company wants to keep you as a customer. So oftentimes they send you another card that you can get involved in. Now, the caveat to that is with everything you do, it comes with an understanding. So your understanding has to be that you're utilizing this card to pay off this debt or to lower or greatly reduce this debt. So when a time period happens, you're already looking to either open up another card, which I may or may not advise you to do based on your situation, but I am telling you that you have the ability to pay down a lot more of your credit by doing that. Okay. And here go the effective use, right? If you do it effectively, you can create a repayment process. That means as you pay it down, you utilize it effectively because you do automatic withdrawals. I think those are the best thing for people, because if you utilize effective withdrawals, you have the ability to set the day that you want it to be withdrawn. So that way you're timely with how you set your monthly payments or your minimum amount payments, as well as how much you want to set an additional payment. My suggestion is that you make two payments. One is the minimum payment set, and then the second one is your acceleration payment. That way, in case anything happens, you'll be able to pay at least the minimum, and then your acceleration will kick in. So if you make two payments on the same day, one is going to be for the minimum amount due, and the other one is an acceleration, because we want to make sure that you can track as fast as you are accelerating, because it gives everyone a big benefit when you can see the thousands and thousands of dollars get knocked off of your expense report, or not your expense report. That's more for a business, but for a personal look, you can see how much money you no longer see on your credit. Okay, moving past the balance transfer. Now we got to consolidations with new credit cards. Now, the difference is, instead of a balance transfer, consolidation means that if you are efficient at paying off your cards, sometimes you can be issued a higher card, or you can be issued a higher loan amount. Like a home equity line of credit, it utilizes the home for a certain purpose. So what you want to do is you want to open up the biggest amount you can get, whether it's a loan, a line of credit or a credit card. If that's big enough, you want to engulf 2 or 3 credit cards into this one lump sum. By doing that, you greatly reduce the amount of you greatly reduce the 3 credit cards that are currently active. So now they're 0, and now you're only paying on this one larger credit card. The reason why you do that, because that bigger credit card oftentimes have a lot less interest rate than the other 3 cards. So a home equity line of credit is typically between anywhere from the low end is 2%, the high end is 10%, depending on your credit worthiness. But the best reason for that is by consolidating, you now have one payment versus several, and you have the ability to have a lower interest rate. So if you're assessing your debt, and this is why you should do it, if you can assess your debt and you can say, hey, I can utilize this better, right? And then you check your score, because your score is very important, especially as a person to person. Just like you said, it's a way to test integrity. So you got to check your credit score, research how much the transfer credit card applies, or the transfer credit loan, how much all of that stuff will cost you. Is it 3%? Is it 5%? Is it free? Some credit card companies they give you a checkbook where you can just write off your balance to another account and push it over into your current account. If you are allowed to do that, my suggestion is you do take it and you utilize it for what it's worth. If the interest rate is lower than your current credit card. And then the next couple of things are very easy. You transfer your balance, and then you got to develop a repayment plan. Like I said, in everything I'm saying, everything you do is assigned. So when it comes to your money or your time, it is assigned out. So before you say, hey, I can do this, everything is good, make a plan together and say, okay, how do I pay this out? How does that look? Can I do this in a time frame that's reasonable? If the answer is yes, yes, and yes, then go ahead with your plan, and you avoid accumulating new debt. When as you're paying off everything, you want to make sure that you are not saying, hey, this card is empty, let me go buy this new dress. Hey, this card is empty, I need new tires for my vehicle. Hey, this card is empty, I got a new game coming out. Hey, this card is empty, we got the holidays coming up. Hey, this card is empty, let's go buy some toys for the kids. None of that stuff matters. The name of the game is you're utilizing another card to pay off these cards. Don't close them out. Just make sure you put them to the side so you're not tempted to utilize them, because the better you are at doing that, the better you are at getting everything you want done. And last but not least, monitor your progress. By monitoring your progress, you're better fit at looking at what you're doing, and you can track your success.
That's good. That's good. And I think that really gives us a even though it seems like it's a lot of information, it really gives us a nice balance to understand that, we can get involved in using credit cards in order to be able to advance or accelerate. But it has to be strategic, though. And you have to understand what the card is, why you're using it, and what advantages and disadvantages using credit can bring, because you can get in trouble with credit cards. I've been in those same scenarios that you just talked about, over the years. I mean, I've been in, I'm not a spring chicken. And so, I've been in some, some interesting situations, over the years, and being able to be in places where I use cards because I had them, and times when I shouldn't have used them. I used cards because it was zero on there, and I just feel I need to put something on there, and so there's been several different times where I've used cards when I probably shouldn't have used them. And so, those scenarios that you mentioning there are real life scenarios that average people experience. And so being able to understand that, yeah, I can do it. I just need a plan to pay them off. And I don't want to, just create new debt because I can. And I definitely want to make sure that I'm, understanding how to move the money around from a balance standpoint. I could transfer it to a 0% card or however I'm transferring those balances. But the bottom line is being able to be true to your word of how you paying them back and set some type of monitoring system so that you know where you are. And like you said, for many, the automatic payments is a good way to do it because it ensures they get paid on time. And if you do it with a balanced budget, and you'll never even miss it. You know what I mean? Because it'll be going out on schedule.
Yes. Yes. Having everything on schedule is nice. One of the biggest things that got me, one of the biggest hiccups that I had is when it was a Visa check card I got when I graduated high school. They just sent it to me, like a random check card. And I was like, I got a credit card? And they sent it to me. Now, they didn't tell me that I had 25% interest. They didn't say that. They just said, hey, here goes this credit card. Congratulations on passing high school. And I was like, oh, snap. And they gave me $1,000 limit. When I tell you I burnt that $1,000 up, it took me all like 3 days to burn through that $1,000. And I'm talking about I was still working the job, and I just was like, I got a card, I got to use it, and I burnt right through it. And then it started. Then that 25% kicked in. I was like, oh, I'm paying these bills for like the next 6 months, and I was like, how far did I get? Oh, I still owe $900. Like how is that happening? I'm paying $125 every single. How am I still owing? Like, how do I still owe over $900 and I'm paying $125 a month?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Like you get caught up in the glitz, the glamour. Even now, I still get credit card offers, and the first thing I look at is the interest rate. Rip it open and look at it. Interest rate, no probationary period. What?
Yeah,
I don't even need that no more.
Yeah.
I do understand that some people may feel that they in over their head, and that's the thing I want to tell people. Just because you feel a certain way don't mean you is. That's why we always want to make sure you write everything down.
Yeah. And with a plan, even if you are over your head, with a plan and you consistently stick to the plan, you'll chip away at that faster than you think. And it'll bring that down from being over your head to where your head is to under your head, if we still with that analogy, and it'll bring it to a manageable place. But you have to be consistent, with making those payments, and you have to have a plan too. You can't just make minimum payments and get it paid down. The plan we gave you, I think was it last week we gave them the plan.
Yes.
That the snowball method.
Yep.
So you want to go back and look at that one if you wasn't with us last week, and use that snowball method, and you can get, even if you are over your head, you can get it paid off. But the one thing that he said that's really most important, if you are going to enter into the world of credit cards and loans, you gotta make sure you understand the fine print, and you gotta watch those interest rates, because oftentimes just making minimal payments is not doing nothing for the principal.
Yeah,
like you said, he paid 6 months $100 and something, and he only knocked it down $100. That's because the interest rate was so high, and so a lot of the money that he was paying was going towards the interest rate, not going towards the principal. So you don't want to just get the card because they offered it to you. You want to make sure you understand the fine print, and you want to make sure you understand the interest, because it's not worth it. It may seem like it's worth it, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Cash is always king, even though we live in a digital world now. Where do you know I was at a place, I was out of town and I went to a place and they told me they didn't take cash.
Yeah, I know. When you say cash is king, I'm like, cash is like secondary king now.
No, but the concept of cash is king is this being able to just pay it off, not necessarily literally cash, but being able to go into the store and just buy it, outright is what the whole cash is king signified, even though we're associated it with actual cash. Now it's not necessarily actual cash, but it's still cash is king means now the same as financial freedom, and that is being able to go and pay it off and not have to get it on credit.
Yes.
So that's always the best way, than to put it on credit. All right.
I think if you do put it on credit, as long as it's a sign, like long as everything is manageable, because it is good to have credit. It's not like a bad thing. And it's in Western society right now, it's good to have a credit score. So you may want to utilize it to, hey, I'm getting gas, right? The small stuff, but you shouldn't go over 50%. Because once you do that, you actually get a negative. It actually negatively affects you. So when I say getting a credit card, paying everything off, and some people do this, and I thought this was cool when I first heard it, and I think it's a good method now. So cash is king. So you go there, you get a credit card, you pay it all off with your credit card. Boom. So now you have credit. Now you have a credit score. The very next day or within the same week, you pay off that credit card that paid for the item. That way you are not charged any interest. So even if your interest rate is 300%, by doing that, you pay no interest because it's within 30 days. So I have heard of many different notions on how to get from point A to point B. So yes, I do believe cash is king, or the what cash is king stands for.
Right.
Those are all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of methods on making that work. So yes.
Yeah. Because even though you might use a digital debit card to access your cash, having the ability to pay something off without credit is king.
Yes.
All right. That's good stuff. Listen, I hope you all are learning something, and I hope we ain't getting too into it for you. I mean, as far as, a lot of times we can get overwhelmed with information. However, if you have a desire to move forward with your life and to have financial freedom, it starts with financial education, financial literacy. You got to understand finance. When I asked the question about, the whole idea of wealth being a rite of passage, James, he put in the whole idea of not wealth being a rite of passage, because wealth can go two ways, but wealth training or wealth literacy or understanding how wealth works, because as he said, he'd give you $100,000, but if you don't understand how wealth works, you would just spend it. Anybody can spend it. You have to know how to manage wealth, where wealth is doubling, where your money is making money, where the money you are spending is not the money that you have, but it's the money that your money have made. Now, I know that was a mouthful right there, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I like it though. It makes sense to me. Okay, it's like the old adage: why do hardworking people work hard all their life, but a person who's rich can be rich, claim bankruptcy, and then come back rich the very next year? What are they doing that you're not doing? Is they have financial literacy and they have the ability to apply it. And that application is what we all could hold if we understood how it works and how do we leverage that in order to get things done.
Yeah. Because I was in a conversation with someone about, our former president who have filed bankruptcy all these times, and he's a billionaire, and he's filing bankruptcy and leaving people hanging, as far as they, not paying them and stuff like that, and people, upset with that. But you can't be mad at him because he knows the laws, that he has financial literacy. He know how, you know, to be able to navigate finances by using those different things out there. Now, on somebody end, they'll say, "No, that's not right." Well, but that's within the laws. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
know that's an extreme case, and I'm not advocating doing it like that, and I'm not necessarily saying that I'm for that particular person. I'm just saying that's something that's big in the news right now. And, when it comes to, using the avenues based on the understanding or the training that you have can be a benefit to you. And
Yeah.
so even though some people might use it in an evil way, if you will, because if your intent is to defraud somebody by using a legal loophole to do that, now morally that's not right. But there's other laws or financial training or literacy or understanding that you can benefit from if you would use if you educate yourself on how money works. Now I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna move forward. And I've said this for years and people don't seem to get it. Money is an idea. Money is not really the value. That dollar bill, let me see if I got a dollar in my pocket here. I should have one over in this pocket here. When we talk about, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I got a dollar over here. So when we talk about this paper money right here, this paper money right here this is an idea. This paper right here is not valuable within itself. All right. And then y'all show me, yeah, what do you get? What do you got? A 20? Now this is just an idea.
Yeah.
Money, you see this ring right I got here? Let me see, I ain't gonna pull it off. But this ring is white gold. All right. This ring is white gold and it's got some diamonds in there. This is valuable. I can melt this down and whatever this weighs, this is the value. Well, this money right here is backed by gold and silver. All right. So then back in the day, you couldn't walk around with a big old bar of gold and scrape some off to go buy you a case of water. That'd be heavy, right? So they came up with an idea. Let's get this paper that'll represent the gold and the silver. And the value of this is based on the value of the gold and the silver. That's why this goes up and down. All right. Now I ain't got too deep, I know it. But
Yeah.
if money is an idea, ideas make money.
Yes, ideas do make money, Pastor. Yep, ideas do make money.
And so if we can get that, if we can understand that, then we know we can navigate how we can get to a place of financial freedom by not just doing A and B as the average American person does, but learning how to take advantage of the things we've been teaching you, like money market, like stocks and bonds, like CDs. Even though those don't make a lot of money, over time that money accumulates. If you got, let's say you got a CD making a little money over here, you got a stock making a little money over here, and then you begin to take some of these ideas that we've been talking about and get all those hooks in the water, and you go down, and then you begin to consistently use that pattern. You get money, and you decide, just like Rich Dad Poor Dad is a great book. He talks about how, okay, let's say he wanted to buy a new car, and the car is, let's say, $50,000. Well, instead of going and buy a new car, he'll go buy a duplex.
Yeah.
And then downstairs duplex pay the car note on the car, and the upstairs of the duplex pays the note on the duplex. And so when the car get paid off, he still got money coming in from the duplex. And when he get ready to go buy something else, he'll do the same thing. He'll go buy a piece of real estate, the rent, the income from the real estate, pay the note on what he's buying. So he never uses his money that he has. He always get an asset, and the asset pays the bill, or even if it's something that's a liability, the cost, because the car is not really a true investment. Car is really a liability. Now if they get old and stuff, it could be an investment. But the point that I'm making is many ways to be able to buy and make things happen without just dishing money out of your pocket, because you keep going out and nothing coming in. Eventually, you ain't gonna have none.
Yes.
That was a lot, wasn't it? That was a lot. All right.
No, if they got the concept of rich dad, poor dad, I was just telling my cousin the same thing. I said the easiest thing for somebody to do is to buy a duplex. You buy a duplex, you got $2,000 coming in. That'll take care of a lot of new stuff you got going on. Give yourself 5 to 10 years, make sure everything is paid off, and boom, now you got instant money coming in. Yeah. And if you was to do that consistently over time, you will see yourself being able to do a lot of things that you would not normally consider yourself doing. And then that's how you move yourself into a better, that's how you become an asset to all the people around you, and not just another crab in a barrel trying to keep them under. Because once people can see what you're doing, and you can be like, hey guys, this is what I'm doing, people are more inclined to agree.
All right. Listen, we are almost out of time. Again. They say time flies when you're having fun. I know I'm having
fun.
Time. And so we gotta probably what we got, maybe 7 minutes, about 7 minutes left. So do we have anything left on our lesson about credit and loans?
Yeah, but the biggest thing that I can have people do is it is how to scoot down, because the other ones are just like this one is how to use personal loans to pay off debt. The biggest thing about that is it has a lot of benefits by using your personal loan to pay off debt, because your personal loan typically has a lower interest rate than your credit cards. So you get a personal loan, you pay off all your debts, and then you pay off your personal loan. The next one is, why would you utilize credit card debt? By paying more than the minimum. You oftentimes, in most credit card statements, they tell you if you pay the minimum, it will take this amount of years. If you pay more than the minimum, and they give you an actual dollar amount, if you pay $100 more, $300 more, you can have it knocked off in a year or less. I think the most that they do it is for 3 years. And then it has debt consolidation and debt transfers. We already talked about those. The last one is the big one that if I have some time, I do want to go over this. Now, it depends on what you're doing. Now, me, I do a lot of traveling. So I have 2 credit cards that utilize mileage. The card that I got from the airlines had a $395 annual fee. So I didn't get that card. However, I did get a card that deals with mileage, and I got another card that deals with mileage. It helps me with mileage. I have another business card that deals with all the gas. So as I use the card, I got gas points. As I buy stuff, I get mileage points so I can fly places. That is very big for me, for a person who travels a lot. Using your rewards correctly. Let's say that you're not a person who travels in planes a lot, and you're a person who eats a lot at restaurants. Get the card that gives you that benefit. So when you pay for something, you're utilizing that correctly. And now you got 2 to 3 points on just using cash. Or if you pay within some credit cards give you like a bonus. So once you purchase something, if you can pay half within 30 days, they give you like a bonus $10, or like a bonus, not $10, but a bonus 10 credits, or like a bonus 100 credits. Make sure you're picking the right card to use for your daily life. I personally like things that deal with travel because I'm doing it a lot. So if I can utilize my everyday expenses on the way of my travel, then it just becomes part of my alignment. So I want to make sure we do that. And then how you redeem rewards. The best thing that you can do is learn how to redeem any card you got. If you have a credit card and it has special features, when I say special features, I mean it has the ability for you to shop online. It has the ability for you to do Amazon free or Uber Eats for free. You want to utilize those rewards as much as possible. That way you can get the money that you're putting into the card, you can get that money out of the card. Okay.
Mhm.
And when you redeem your rewards, that's how you get all of this free perks and benefits. There is another credit card that's out. I think Visa has a card. It allows you to do rental cars. So for those who may not be flying a plane or be taking trips, and you do a lot of rental cars, it's a card offered by Visa that allows you to go in, and now you can, whenever you do a rental car, it accumulates points too. So you want to make sure that you're looking for those things. Some people, you're not traveling, you're not going to a lot of places, you're just eating a lot of food. Well, guess what? MasterCard and Visa, Discover, and is one more other one. They have a plethora of cards set up that you can earn 3 to 4 times your point value just by buying groceries and by buying food. So if you're a really big food eater, those may be the cards that will work better for you. Like always, when you get these things, you want to make sure you're redeeming your rewards so you can get what you need out of that card. There's no point in having just a regular credit card that does nothing for you. Every credit card has a purpose. Make sure that credit card is doing its purpose, and you will see the rewards that you want to see. The biggest thing is to avoid accumulating new debt. Just like when I was talking to the pastor, and I'm talking to you, make sure when you use the credit cards, you want to be using less than half. Around 30% is the max you want to use on a credit card, and you want to make sure you're paying it off by the end of 30 days.
Okay.
The last thing is to monitor your usage. That means as you use your credit cards, you want to use it so you can see how your credit is going up or down. And then that will further let you know how things are going. Almost every credit card company gives you a FICO score. If you're in the Midwest, it is from TransUnion. The other two bureaus, Equifax and it's Equifax and Experian. Those two are for the two other coasts, but for the ones in the middle, pretty much your Midwesterners, we are using TransUnion. I have already looked at a bunch of credit cards that I do have an offer for the business as well as personal, and TransUnion is the number one FICO score that they're pulling. So make sure that you are monitoring what you're doing so you can get yourself where you need to be. All right, Pastor, that's it. Yeah, I got them. I got everything done. Got it.
Yeah, all right. Well, listen, we are out of time. Thank you again for tuning in to our Financial Friday, where we are rising up out of our Rise and Thrive Financial Friday, while we are rising out of our financial slumps and thriving in financial freedom. I'm your host, Dr. A.D. Burns, and this is my co-host, Brother Minister James Jones. Until next Friday, we'll see you. Listen, application plus knowledge, or knowledge plus application equals wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
Walk in wisdom this week. All right? Peace. We out.